We are back here in Schulfig with Farah to find out what we need to do in order to help save Wildermore.
Thank you for doing some good in the rigging downs, my new friend.
These people have experienced much hardship, and I fear I may have given speed to some of the dangers that threaten them. I was riding in the high knolls with my companions when a blizzard closed in. The snow was blinding and the wind fierce, and I dismounted to seek some measure of shelter. No sooner had my boots touched the ground than a great darkness fell upon me, and a tremendous shape towered over my poor horse Windfoot. I stumbled away, falling into a great drift of snow. It saved my life. Above the tumult I could hear the sound of Nurzim at feast. He made a meal of my poor Windfoot, and only when he had finished and moved away among the crags did I see that my companions were missing. Of Ludwig there was no sign, but I do not think that Harding's son was spared. I made my slow way by foot back here to Schulfig, but if he was alive, he would have done the same. That is my tale. I hope only that Nurzim is not drawn here by my presence to threaten the people of Schulfig. Well, that's a bit of a problem. What do you say about this, Corydon?
This creature Nurzum must be of enormous size.
I listened to Windfar's tale, as you did, but it raises more questions than we had before. This creature Nurzim must be of enormous size if it can overpower a horse of Rohan. He must be clad in thick fur to move comfortably in the midst of such a snowstorm as Windfara related. Whether his attack was caused by need or sport is unclear to me, but the size of his appetite is less mysterious. It is large and not easily sated. I believe Nurzim to be a large snow beast in the sort of that frequents the Misty Mountains. How he came to this area of Rohan I cannot guess. Where's Gleowinne? I have not seen him since we arrived. If dangers such as this Nurzim stalk Wildermore, we should stay together for safety. I hope Gleowinne has not thought to leave Schulfig. Well, I will see if I can find him anywhere around here. And only hope that the quest arrow is pointing me towards him rather than towards a corpse or something. I see a quest ring up ahead. It is a friend.
There is no fool like an old man thinking to rediscover the joys of his youth.
What happened to Wildermore in many years since I left her? The land of my childhood was a sunny place, of fields and blue rivers, not this den of relentless sorrow. It was not home to such terrors as this monstrous Nurzim, bringing death so quickly and without warning. What happened to the land that I remember? Oh, pay no attention to the old sad man Pine Sea. I will not despair. My concern must not be that these troubles have happened to my childhood homeland. It must be that these troubles could move south and threaten the rest of Rohan. We will need help the people of Wildermore, and help them we will, even Theoden King, though he not ask nor trust us such help. Thank you for this talk, my friend. I just needed to hear these things aloud. All right, so back to Horn. It appears that your mentor doesn't remember Wildermore being so snowy when he was young.
Sometimes that is all it takes, is it not? Time? Time to think?
So, Gleowinne's time to himself helped him to find some measure of peace? I'm glad. It could be like that for any one of us. only to return renewed and with greater purpose. I hope that is so. Ah, yes, I am glad Gleowina is feeling better. What should we do now? Well, that's a good question.
Rohan cannot have a Wildemore-shaped gap in its northern defenses.
While you were away, I spoke with some of the townspeople. Their accounts differ in many respects. Nurzum's height and description, the time at which he first appeared, the places that he seems to haunt, all of these differ. Everyone seems to agree on 2 points, though. First, that Nurzum is dangerous and must be destroyed if Wildemore is to survive. All right, I can see their opinion on that. And second, Reeve Garwig seems completely incapable of dealing with this threat. I hope that this is not so, but if it is true that the Reeve of Wildemore cannot protect his people, perhaps something must be done. The Odin King will need all his allies in the days ahead, even if he doesn't see it, and Rohan cannot have a Wildemore-shaped gap in his northern defenses. Reeve Garwig makes his home in the town of Forlaw, to the south of Shulfig, on the southernmost tip of the Asingmere. Let us travel to the mead hall and see what plans he has for combating Nurzum and aiding his people. All right, let's head to the Reeve. I would presume he's going to be as useless as most of the other Reeves we've run into. I have arrived in Lornsettle, the mead hall in Forlaw, and I presume that this is the Reeve.
Where are my warriors? All that remain in my hall are orphans and widows.
Harding sent men to help me, and they were unable to provide any assistance at all. They got themselves eaten, or crushed, or lost in the snow. And worse than that, the survivors crawled back to my villages, bringing their rumbling bellies and broken limbs with them. They are of no use to anyone. Where are my warriors? Where are the strong men of Rohan? Dead, or gone, or weakened by the cold and by hunger. All that remains in my hall are orphans and widows. They call me the Lord of Widows and Orphans. Did you know that? Me, Garwig, son of Kelgar, Reeve of Wildemore. You cannot face Nurzum, but if you are willing to help, there is no shortage of foes seeking to destroy my people. The Uruk-hai have secretly been bringing supplies near Forlaw, along the shore of the Asingmere. Defeat them and burn their barrels of supplies that they have brought with them. Do this, and you may forestall the end. For a time. Only for a time. Alright, so defeat Uruk-hai and burn Uruk-hai supply barrels. Okay, well, Uruk-hai are involved. That means Saruman's involved. As if that's a shock in any way whatsoever. Definitely Saruman's involvement. Though, of course, the fact I ran into a White Hand settlement earlier in my investigations should have been enough to tell me that Saruman was involved in some way. Well, now, let's see. I'm supposed to deal with some of these Uruk-hai and destroy some of their supply barrels or something like that. There's a supply barrel right over there. New deed. Uruk's Lair of Wildemore. Oh, what a surprise! What a silly surprise. Now, let's see if I can find more of these barrels. Oops. Lakeside Infiltrator. Well, more like... I guess that's a lakeside. The lake is still Is that a lake or a river? Well, whether it's a lake or a river doesn't matter. We were at the site of such body of water. Okay, let's see. Now, did I miss a barrel? Supply barrel. This way. With this on infiltrator. Well, I will infiltrate him with my sword. Then find the next barrel. Ah, 3 barrels. I think there's at least 1 barrel on the other side of the river. Alright. Assuming that... Well, I'm assuming that this part is a river and that's a lake. Now, I am supposed to go across this river, which is so cold, without freezing to death. Well... Four. Ah, there's the barrel right over there. 5. 6. There we go. And we could provide the news back to the reeve. Actually, this is an island. So this is not a river, but maybe a channel. Well, maybe not even a channel. Sort of a strait. I'm trying to think what is the proper name for a little bit tiny strip of water that's on the short side of an island that's in the middle of a... Well, not in the middle of the lake because it's near the edge of the lake. Oh well. I have returned from a mission.
What sort of life is this?
You did as I asked? Good. Though it be one small drop in a sea of need. I do not know how the Urukai made it all the way to the lakeside uncontested, but the loss of some supplies may keep them from staying there for long. While you were gone, the city shook and rumbled, and my people cowered, thinking Nearsum had come. The city has been spared his wrath thus far, but I say that they were right to cower. How long will Forlaw remain out of his sight? When Nearsum does come, how can we hope to defend ourselves? We cannot. What sort of life is this? Is it not cruel to ask my people to live this way, in the shadow of a fear that we cannot banish? This is a sorry lot to have drawn, stranger. I thank you for facing the Urukai, but if you take my advice, you will leave Wildemore behind. Once Nearsum turns his attention to us, we will be gone. It may not be today or tomorrow, but I think that we will all pass out of life before this unnatural winter does. Alright, so now he's calling this an unnatural winter. Nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. The reeve seems to have given up hope.
It is as they said in Shilfig. Reeve Garwig is giving up hope.
We will find no plan for facing Nearsum here, Pine Sea. But first, we must reassure the people of Forlaw. We must tell them that their reeve is still trying to get them through to us, that he loves them and believes that they will survive. Winter will pass, Nearsum will fall, and the people of Wildemore will plant new crops and reap a bountiful harvest in days to come. I would not have believed Gerwig had such eloquence in him. What? You didn't get the impression from our visit to the reef? Most curious. I am sure he said something like that. Oh, be sure to comfort the scared villagers that you see. It seems to me that Garwick does not often leave his hall to stay, and that helps us all. Mm-hmm. In other words, he won't be around to tell anyone that I am just spouting a bunch of nonsense. Ah! Here's a villager I can speak with. Maybe he'll believe my words. Hello there. I will not despair. Okay, what about you? I must not give up. Okay, good. So far, so good. I mean, I've had worse times in trying to reassure people in the past. Anywhere around here? Anyone needs reassuring? Ah, here's someone who looks like they could use some reassurance. Here you go. Do you really think so? I think so more than the Reeve does, but that's an entirely different matter. Alright, a little bit of reassurance. I will tell my neighbors not to despair either. Okay. There we go. What about you? Maybe you're right. I think just one more and we will spread the joy all over the place. Good. Now, let's get back to Horn. Too bad I can't reassure the Reeve in the same way.
How did you do? I trust you did not let the truth interfere with your errand.
We may have given the people false hope, Pincy, but if we can do something about Nearsum, it will not be a lasting injustice. Things have gone poorly for the people of Forlaw already, but it doesn't take much thought to see that they could go even worse. Wonderful. You make me feel wonderful.
Garwick has strength. It is buried deeply, but he does possess it.
Garwick may not see a means to defeating Nearsum, but we will not judge him too harshly. He buckles under the weight of his worry, but there is strength there. Just buried deeply, like the fields of Wildermore beneath the unnatural cold. Glewin tells me that the fallows were home to the most bountiful farms in the Wildermore. If they survive at all, it is a testament to the strong will of their owners, but they are not warriors, and their strength will not last when faced with Urukai and warg riders. The road runs south through the fallows and leaves Wildermore at its southernmost reaches, but no riders or information have gone that way for some weeks. Ride among the farms of the fallows and defeat warg riders on your way to that pass. I suspect that some foe holds the road against us. Defeat whatever you find there, and meet me at Garfort's farm afterwards. We will do what good we can against the foes that we can manage. Nearsum must wait. Nearsum must wait. Well, something tells me he's not going to wait very long. Not very long at all. What will we find at the farms? Who is blocking the pass that's leading down into Norcrofts? And will we come up with an idea to defeat Nearsum? Perhaps we'll start to unravel those questions in the next episode of River and Sea.